Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I'm a geek, you're watching Kevin the Geek. Welcome back to another Dave Gorman. This is Modern Life is Goodish. It's not a series finale, this is just Series 2, Episode 5. But it doesn't matter that it's not a series finale because, to be honest, any day that I'm having a bit of a low day, like today, I know that I can cheer myself up by watching a bit of Dave Gorman. So, let's just get straight into it. This episode is I would drink that bath water. Okay, so we know that this is normally going to be a quote from the found poem towards the end. That to me would suggest we're talking about, because it's not really good. It's not going to be about drinking bath water. It's going to be something a little bit off. So I'm going to go with it's going to be a drink that someone thinks is bad that they're likening to bath water. So I'm going to go with a beer or a cider or a wine or something like that. That's what I'm going to go with. That's what the theme and the topic of the found poem will be today.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Modern Life is Goodish. My name's Dave Gorman. I have a laptop, a remote control, and a big screen. And I wanted to start this particular show with a discussion of manners. And it occurs to me that I usually address you and all audiences as a mass, as a group. You never really become individuals to me. And so I was thinking, maybe this week it'd be nice and polite if I said a quick hello to just at least one of you. I'll come down here and just say a quick hello to you. So what's your name there, fella?
Jason.
Jason, nice to meet you, Jason. And are you a local man, Jason? Kent. From Kent, okay, yeah, so you've travelled a little bit. What do you do for yourself in Kent? What do you?
IT.
You're in IT, okay, everyone is these days, aren't they? Yeah. Bit of a busman's holiday in some ways, isn't it? This coming out to an IT thing. Yeah, no, it's just a nice, it's just a little chat, that's all it is. Nothing untowards. Nothing untowards. But I'm just saying, I did that for a reason. I did that for a reason. Obviously, Jason, he's a very well brought up man. He's very polite. When I offered my hand there, he was straight there, wasn't he? Shaking it. Because he knows that is how polite people behave in modern society. I like that in you, Jason. Well done, you. Not everyone is so well disposed, are they? I have met a man who did not know how to shake hands. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the man I am talking about. If you don't know him, his name is Alex Reid. He is best known, I think, for having once been married to Jordan, but I believe he applies his trade as a cage fighter. Incidentally, that screen is there for information purposes. It's not a scaled-up version of his business card. Although it would be magnificent if it were. Now, if I'm going to tell you that I met Alex Reid, my ego insists that I make it very clear I was not working with Alex Reid. I was working in the same building as Alex Reid. I was in the makeup chair having my brow tended to by a young lady. In walked Alex. I did what polite people do. I am polite. I'm also a very good liar. I said, it's nice to meet you, didn't I? Yeah. I offered him my hand. He stared at that hand like it was some kind of foreign alien object he'd never seen the like before, and then he did this. Tried to turn my handshake into a bloody fist bump.
No!
I don't think that's fair. If he'd started it, if he'd walked in and gone, all right, fella, I'd have been right there with the bump, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Because the person who starts the greeting runs the greeting, don't they?
Yes.
Those are the rules. You join in with whoever starts it.
Yes.
And I started it with a handshake. He is being all alpha male, wasn't he? He's thinking, no, I'm in charge here, I'll show him who's top dog. He's trying to force me to turn my handshake into a fist bump, and I'm embarrassed to tell you, but I did. I yielded, ladies and gentlemen. I gave him a fist bump. And I saw him after that. He had a bit of a cocky swagger in him, thinking, yeah, I showed him, he knows who's in charge. Little does he know, ladies and gentlemen, secretly, up here, I was playing stone, scissors, paper. So I win. I win, that's the important thing. In fact, I win twice, because when he sat down in the makeup chair, he proceeded to explain exactly how many cold sores he had, and I was left feeling quite pleased that we hadn't pressed any more flesh than was strictly speaking necessary.
Fair enough.
While most people share a view of what constitutes good manners in person, I think things change a little when we go online. Many of us become a little less gracious. Something happens to us. We become disinhibited in some way. I noticed it very much after I got married. Here I am, ladies and gentlemen, on my wedding day, and you might think that that was not an appropriate outfit for that wedding, but let me tell you, we are made for each other. We really are. Anyway, after I got married, a couple of things happened. One of the things was that people saw pictures of me and my new bride, and I found complete strangers started contacting me via Twitter or email or Facebook, and they would say, "You're punching above your weight, eh? Hey, never met you before, have I? Calling you ugly?" I don't think that's a very nice thing to say to a stranger. Now, another thing that happened after I got married is I put on some weight. In the first 3 months of being married, I put on 2 stones in weight. I swelled up to 14.5 stone. Now, there is a reason for that. The reason is Mrs. Gorman's hobby is baking cakes. But Mrs. Gorman doesn't eat cakes. She is allergic to wheat. Her hobby is baking things that she can't eat. A fresh cake would arrive on the kitchen counter every other day, and I'm the only other sod who lives there, aren't I? And I would eat the cake because I am polite. And I like cakes. Not a lot, but I like them.
Not as much as you used to, anyway.
Complete strangers would see me at my top weight of 14.5 stones, and they would, without any compunction, the same people would get in touch by email or by Twitter, saying, "Oh, you're carrying a bit of timber, yeah? Hey, never met you before, calling you porky." I made 1 TV show at my 14.5 stone top weight. It was on the air for 1 hour. During that hour, 184 separate individuals got in touch to tell me I was fat. Whoa. More than 3 a minute for an hour. That wasn't the jolliest hour of my life, thank you very much. Now, in truth, I'll be honest with you, I'm quite thick-skinned about this sort of stuff. In fact, I reckon that extra half stone I'm still carrying is largely thick skin. But the thing that winds me up about messages like this is that they're bloody contradictory, aren't they? If this is the timeline here, ladies and gentlemen, and that there is my weight, and that there is where I'm punching, well, surely as my weight increases, there should be less room left above it for punching, shouldn't there? At some point, I should be in negative equity. I should be punching below my weight, shouldn't I?
Fair enough.
Except it doesn't really work like that, does it? That's not what they're really talking about. What they're talking about is the attractiveness quotient, aren't they? On the attractiveness quotient graph, there's me there, and there's Mrs. Gorman there, who I freely admit is a more visually stimulating individual than I. Now, we got married on the 8th of October 2010. That is the day on which the cakes started arriving.
Right.
That is the day I started piling on the pounds. That is when I started lowering my attractiveness quotient, while Mrs. Gorman carries on at her usual gorgeous level. What she's doing there, secretly, with her so-called hobby of baking cakes, is she is making herself exponentially more attractive, isn't she? That's what she's up to. I'm onto her plan. That is why I have banned the baking of cakes in the Gorman household.
Fair enough.
They are allowed, but only for other people's birthdays, and the cake must leave the house. And I'll tell you what, I'll tell you more about some of the other weird messages I receive from total strangers when we come back from this short break.
I don't know why people always insist on getting involved when it comes to people's weight and things. So, like, I'm free to admit that, because I've spoken about it before, I have been quite heavy and quite chunky and quite portly over the years. Last year, I joined a Slimming World group, and basically, what was it, about February time? So February through till about January of this year, I was on pretty much a downwards trajectory. I was losing a lot of weight. I was looking really thin, and people were commenting and going, "Oh, you're looking good. You're looking slim. Or you lost a lot of weight," and blah 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 blah. And that's a nice way to put it, but it's not as nice when they want to go the opposite way. Like I have my next door neighbour who also goes to a slimming group, who also struggles with her weight. And sometimes she'll just turn around to me when I'm just like putting my bins out or something. She's going, oh, you need to go back to Slimming World. You haven't been for a little while. You're piling the pounds back. And like, did you learn nothing from going to Slimming World group? Like the most detrimental thing, if someone wants to lose weight, is by negatively enforcing the bad behaviours by going, look at you. Oh, I bet you had a big curry last night. Or I bet you had a couple of pizzas, didn't you? A couple of takeaways. I mean, I was having the takeaways, but that's still, nevertheless, that's beyond the point. You know, you shouldn't be saying it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dave Gorman, and this is Modern Life is Goodish. And before the break, I was talking about some of the strange tweets and emails I receive, and this is not a new phenomenon. Hand on heart, there has not been a day in the last 8 or 9 years when I have not been told that I look like someone else. At least once in a day. And on only 3 occasions in those 9 years has the person I'm being told I look like looked even remotely like me. This happens all the time, genuinely, at present on average 10 or 12 times a week. I'll give you some examples. This is the letter from this girl, Charlotte Tom. Dear Mr. Gorman, please find below a picture of a mate of mine who I believe looks uncannily like you. Uncannily? That is her choice of word. Uncannily. I don't really see it myself, Charlotte. Not really, no. I'm not convinced. But I wanted to see if I could breathe life into the imagination of Charlotte Tom. I wanted to see if I could look like her friend, Andy from Tooting. So I gave my camera to Mrs. Gorman, and I tried my hardest to resemble Andy from Tooting. Yeah. I don't think we get there, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't think we do. It's not really the same thing, is it? Not really. Nothing like it, is it? Not really. This is a review of a Swedish heavy metal band. The Haunted needn't worry if their career in extreme music ever dries up. They could try their luck as look-alike artists. Oh. Vocalist Peter Dolving is Dave Gorman's long-lost brother. He could be my long-lost brother.
Yeah.
How long's he been lost for? That's what I'd like to know. Nothing bloody like me. I tried my hardest to see if I could breathe life into the imagination here. I gave my camera to Mrs. Gorman. I tried my hardest to resemble Peter Dolving of The Haunted again. I don't think we get there. Not really, not in any meaningful way. Nothing like him, is it? This one up here, I didn't realise this was a look-alike when I first saw it. I thought someone was being nice to me. Oh, lovely. Dave Gorman's looking buffer these days, isn't he? And a picture link. This one arrived not long after 184 people had told me I was fat. I thought somebody had finally found a thin picture of me. I had a little skip of joy in my heart as I clicked on that link, didn't I?
Uh-oh. I'm not going to lie, that one, if you're going to use the word uncanny, that one would be it.
I gave my camera to Mrs. Gorman.
Yeah?
I didn't really, and you wouldn't have respected me if I had. You wouldn't have respected me. You know you wouldn't. You wouldn't have respected that. Why does this keep happening? I'll tell you why it keeps happening. What all these people have got in common is that they have got brownish hair and reddish beards. You people are beard blind, aren't you? As far as you're concerned, I look like that. As far as you're concerned, that looks just like me. That doesn't look anything like me. That is Rod Hull without emu. Nothing like me whatsoever. It's all very well, you lot chuckling at this. You're all sitting there pretending, I wouldn't have done that. I don't think he looks like those people. You think you're better. You're not. You are just as bad. You can't tell me apart from these people either. I know you can't. You thought you were watching me in the first part of this show, didn't you? Remember when I was talking about shaking hands with Alex Reid? Do you remember that? Yeah? That wasn't me. That wasn't me at all. That was Charlotte Tom's mate, Andy in Tooting. That was that fella. If you don't believe me, I've got it on tape. Here it is.
Secretly, up here, I was playing stone, scissors, paper.
There you go, you see? Maybe he is uncannily like me after all. Do you remember when I talked about putting on weight? Do you remember that? Yeah? You thought that was me, didn't you? That wasn't me either. That was my mate Steve. That's who that was. If you don't believe me, I've got the evidence. Here it is.
First 3 months of being married, I put on 2 stone in weight. I swelled up to 14.5 stone.
Yeah. None of you noticed. Do you remember when I was talking about how much I like cakes? Do you remember that? Yeah? That wasn't me either.
No.
That was Paul Daniels.
Really?
I've got the tape with me.
I like kids, not a lot, but I like them.
You see, you're just as bad.
I'm going to have to rewind now.
You're every bit as
Mental
bad.
tricks.
Just as bad. Now, while I have been getting weird messages from people for a long time, the frequency with which they arrive is definitely increasing. And the reason for that is obvious, I would think. It's just so much easier to do. We live in an age of instant communication. 10 years ago, most people wouldn't have bothered to send me a postcard telling me I look like someone I don't actually look like, but they'll tweet it to me because they can, because it's there. And in many ways, that is brilliant. And yet at the same time, I can't help thinking that when you make communication easier, you also devalue each unit of communication.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that to a certain extent. If any of you think you've found a lookalike of me, please send it my way. I'd like to have a good laugh.
You would all, for example, prefer to receive a birthday card from a friend than a birthday text from a friend. The message it contains is exactly the same, but you all appreciate the effort that someone has gone to. And that's true, I think, with all communication. The government is on board with this kind of easy communication. There is a government website that allows you to create an e-petition. It's supposed to boost political engagement, but personally, I have my doubts. This is on the website where it explains what are e-petitions. And as you can see, e-petitions are an easy, personal way for you to influence government. Really? I'm not so sure that's true. I think they're an easy, personal way for you to pretend that you're being listened to by the government. And if you get 100,000 signatures, your e-petition could be debated in the House of Commons. Am I the only one who finds the words "could be" leaping out at him? Not.
I will say that I think clearly, since this episode would have come out, I think the wording has changed. I think it is now officially that it will be debated in the House of Parliament, if I remember correctly. I'll try and look it up at the end if I remember correctly, because there's been a couple of signatures of petitions that I've put my name to, and what will always happen is you get an email once it's reached the threshold. So off the top of my head, I think I signed for the one where it's talking about like the trying to implement like an independent regulator for football as a result of the whole Super League debacle last year or whenever it was. There was another one. I think it was about that we should abolish the TV license. Again, I signed up to that one. Both of those I know got well over 100,000. And it then went to a debate. And what then happens when they do their debate, you then get sent a link in an email because you signed up to it. So it will say, thank you for signing such and such petition. This was recently debated in the Houses of Parliament. You can click here to read the transcript of what was said, or click here to watch the video of it being discussed. And yeah, I find it interesting that, yeah, it's clear when that happens, you are technically being listened to, but at the same time, it is very clear that a lot of these people still have their own agendas, you know, and that is the problem that you're fighting with politics, that yes, you can be listened to, and yes, they can say, in theory, I think it's a great idea, but I've got something in the back of my mind which is going to be more benefit to me if this thing stays the way that it currently is.
Will be, could be, if they feel like it, if they've got the time. When I checked the other day, there were more e-petitions that have been suggested and rejected than have ever been accepted, gone live and run their full course. So just for a bit of fun, I thought I'd show you 3 different petitions and we'd see what happened to them, see if you could guess which one was rejected. One of them was rejected, the other 2 weren't. One goes with tax on foreign holidays.
Okay.
2 goes with poverty. 3 goes with tax the rich.
I reckon. I mean, hang on, what did he say? 1 was accepted, 2 were rejected. Based on that, you'd like to think that it's going to be the 2 tax ones that are going to be rejected because they're like, we don't want to take more tax because that means that we have to pay more tax and we don't want to give you our hard-earned money. We want to tax the poverty people. So I reckon poverty is probably going to go through, isn't it?
Now, the next stage is to write the body of your petition, and there are some guidelines. As you can see, it tells you, keep your petition details short and to the point. You must say what action you want the government to take. So let's have a look and see how the 3 of our petitions fared on that front. Petition number 1, which as we know is tax on foreign holidays, has gone with this. The government should have a tiered taxation policy, depending on the number of foreign holidays a person takes in a year. If this stops people from holidaying abroad, it is not our economy that suffers. I think we're all pretty clear what it is they want the government to do there. Petition number 2, the poverty petition, goes with this. Poverty, not really important.
No.
Actually, it is. Poverty has been increasing immensely, and we should do our best to eradicate it. It starts with you, at home, not taking things for granted, but appreciating it. What's little for us is huge for them, so make it count. End of petition. I don't know what they want the government to do. I've no
That's
idea.
going to be accepted, isn't
Tax
it?
the rich has gone with, tax the rich, they can afford to pay. There you go. 3 different e-petitions. You've seen them in all their glory. My question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is which one do you think was rejected? All those, by show of hands, maybe a bit of noise, all those who think that it could have been tax on foreign holidays. Anyone? Anyone think that one was rejected? 2, 3, 4 people? Okay, who thinks that poverty was rejected? Yeah. That's certainly, okay, that's clear majority. Who thinks that tax the rich? Anyone out there? A few of you, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've misled you ever so slightly. Only one of these actually made it onto the website and went live. 2 of them were rejected. Let's take a closer look. Tax on foreign holidays, ladies and gentlemen, was rejected because e-petitions cannot be used to request action on issues that are outside the responsibility of the government. Who knew that choosing what level of tax we impose on particular activities was outside the responsibility of the government? I thought that's exactly what they did. But apparently not. That's the reason that one's being rejected. Tax the rich, that says tax the rich, they can afford to pay, has been rejected with the following reason. It did not have a clear statement explaining what action you want the government to take.
I mean, if we're going to get pedantic, yes, he could have said, like, you need to tax anyone earning over, say, £100,000 a year or something like that and give them a high tax. Maybe that's the only thing I can say for them in that regard, but otherwise, it's pretty clear what they want them to do.
That's all it bloody had! Nothing else! It's bloody obvious what they want you to do! That one was rejected. Poverty, ladies and gentlemen, has gone live. It has been published. There. You can sign it. There you go. Any time between now and the 5th of June next year, you can join Roberta, who is so far the only signatory. But if 99,999 other people sign it, the parliamentary authorities are obliged to consider whether or not they should have a debate about whether or not we should try to solve poverty by all appreciating things more. I tell you, I love looking through the e-petitions. Those ones with just one signature, they are my favourite. They are, incidentally, 15% of the total of existing open petitions. Imagine being so motivated about an issue that you think, right, I'm going to give the government a piece of my mind about this. I'm going to start a petition and then not mention it to my wife or my husband or my colleagues at work or anyone else. But some of them are genuinely amazing. For example, look at this. Scrap current coinage due to its obscene and unusual design, revert to previous. This has been published on the website, ladies and gentlemen. This is out there. It's wonderful. It really is. The 2008 coinage design is visually offensive and sexually explicit to the point of obscenity.
Sexually
explicit? The new
explicit?
design is cleverly contrived and features a phallus. When all the coins are arranged in their proper form, the shield design can be seen, and it is clear that an obvious phallus has been incorporated into the Irish harp. It's on the back of the 50p, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you've all seen it, haven't you? I've looked into it. I'll tell you what, I have found the phallus. And I will tell you exactly where it is
after the
when
break.
we come back from this short break.
Of course it's after the break. Luckily, through a bit of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly nonsense, I don't have to wait that long. Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome back to Modern Life is Goodish, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dave Gorman, and before the break, I was talking about this e-petition submitted to the government's own website, where someone is trying to persuade them to withdraw the coinage of 2008 and revert to the previous design because there is a phallus on the 50p piece. And I have found the phallus, or at least I think I have. These are the coins that we use below the £2 coin, as the £1 and the smaller denominations.
Right. I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I said. I mean, first of all, he said he thinks he can see it on the. Hang on, did he say the 50p piece or the 20p? Because I remember this. I remember this when this came out, but I never realised for ages that it supposedly made a shield. I cannot see anything there.
A lot of people don't know that if you combine them, they reveal the shield. Now, you can see the phallus on the 50p. You have to zoom in, though, and you really have to get quite far in. You have to get into the detail. It will, as we travel in, it will suddenly leap out at you. I promise you, it is in there. Just look there. There it was. It was there all along.
Very cunningly disguised.
If someone's just walking into the living room now and looking at this on telly, they're going to think somebody else has graffitied the telly. There isn't a phallus in there. There really isn't. The man is mad, surely. I've had a careful look, though. I think I know what he's talking about, I think. If you look at the 50p and I guess the 5p, it is possible he's talking about that as the phallus. It's also possible he's talking about that as the phallus. But I don't think either of them are really phalli, are they? Not really. His petition goes on to say, this phallus is not a traditional part of the harp of the royal shield. And he's right there, it's not. Neither is it a part of the coins he's looking at either. His petition ends by saying, I will also start a petition that calls for criminal charges to be brought to the perpetrators of this monstrous act of cultural vandalism. There are loads of petitions that make me scratch my head. There are loads where you think, surely that's more of a local issue. This is the sort of thing I mean. Lower streetlights in Aberystwyth. And incidentally, he doesn't mean make them dimmer. He means make them lower. Here, he sets out his case. About us, there is a wonderful star-filled sky, but in the town of Aberystwyth, it is being obscured by extremely high streetlights. I'm not suggesting we turn off any, but simply lower them, and then we may get a clearer view of the beautiful natural lights above us. Those stars are 100 million miles away. Moving a street light from 15 feet to 12 feet off the ground, I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference.
I mean, it might,
surely, the only way in which they won't interfere with your view of the night sky is if you move them below head height. And I think if you do that, you've lost sight of what it is they're there for. The population of Aberystwyth, incidentally, is approximately 16,000 people. He needs every single person who lives there and 84,000 other people who've no reason to give a shit to sign his petition in order for anyone to pay it any attention. Is that greater political engagement? I don't think so. Petitions being too local is definitely a running theme on the site. This is a favourite. Relief buses to be implemented during peak usage times outside Wilson School. At no point during this petition, which has been published, does it mention which town Wilson School is in. For all I know, their son is called Wilson and they're talking about their son's school. One of the other recurring types is the kind of retaliatory petition. Here's another one that's only got one signature. Allow sales of fireworks to the public and stop the Ban Everything Brigade. Yeah, let's bloody show them.
Yeah.
I see the Ban Everything Brigade is out in force, so let's do something against them. Yeah, let's ban the Ban Everything Brigade, yeah? Oh, no, don't, that's what they bloody want, yeah. There is nothing, and I repeat, nothing, wrong with selling fireworks to anyone who wants them.
Yes, there is.
Really? Maybe you want to think back to why it is we have fireworks in the first place.
Yeah.
Allowing those people to have fun and enjoy themselves.
And set themselves on
I
fire.
am not a miserable old git, neither do I want to be. So let's have a bit more tolerance of people. And my favourite detail about this petition is that it closes on the 6th of November. Which I can't help feeling. I can't help feeling that is a day too late for Dave's purposes. There's no consistency about the way they run this site. This petition, for example, Apple should open a store in Leeds. Right? This one was rejected, and I understand why, with good reason, obviously, because it says e-petitions cannot be used to request action on issues that are outside the responsibility of the government. That makes sense. But if that was rejected, why was this? Open a TGI Fridays restaurant in Hull accepted? This is published. Imagine the amount of tourists we are going to have in the city, having recently been voted the City of Culture 2017. And we can't even offer them the sumptuous taste of a Jack Daniels burger. So come on, everybody, let's get this out there and bring TGI Fridays to Hull. As far as I'm concerned, if 100,000 people from Hull sign that, they should take the bloody City of Culture away from them. Not, I should say, that there aren't some petitions that make some sense. There are some beautiful ideas out there. Somebody, finally, all petrol stations signal if toilet's working now. Oh, good for you, sir.
Yeah. Honestly, obviously, I'm a driver at the moment, and honestly, the amount of times I'm like going down the motorway, and I'm like, right, I need to make a rest stop. Okay, let's pull into this service station. And often, because I can't wait for the really, really big service stations, because they're like about 50 miles apart from each other, so I have to go through the really tiddly-diddly ones, and you pull in, and you're pulling out through all this traffic, and then you've got to fight your way through, like, right, let me wait for a parking space, let these petrol pumpers get their petrol and get out of the way so I can park up. Okay, get in there. Ooh, getting a bit tight now. Oh, for fuck's sake! Open the toilet door! Something like that. I'm down for.
Finally, someone talking sense in this universe. This is exactly what Westminster should be dealing with, isn't it? Absolutely. Thank you, Nigel Carter. This petition is written with a lovely, enjoyable degree of urgency. It's the number of times he uses the word now. You can't help but read it with that sense of urgency. It's a wonderful thing. Passing drivers must be able to see from their car whether a petrol station has a working and available toilet now from the road before they slow down. If closed for any reason, the sign must warn the driver now not to stop here now, as no toilet is actually usable at this moment. Vital for so many drivers. Am I the only one who imagines this was written while wearing soggy trousers? I don't think I am I? This is basically an online wishing well, isn't it? That's all it is. You toss your idea in, you won't even hear a splash, but you've had your say. You see, instant, easy communication isn't always better. There are other downsides, of course, to instant communication. It makes it easier to make mistakes, doesn't it? In the past, I think it would have been very hard to accidentally post a naked photo of yourself to someone else, wouldn't it? But now it's easy, isn't it? And it seems people manage to post naked photos of themselves all the time on the internet for the whole world to see. There's a famous example not so long ago involving the Coronation Street actress Michelle Keegan. This is how the Mail reported it, although, to be honest, even though they've covered up the rudest bits, I feel a bit uncomfortable. I hope you don't mind, I'm going to take that away. They follow you around the room, I find. Now, what happened is that a photo of some breasts in the bath was posted on her Twitter account. She says it wasn't her and that those were not her breasts, but it was on her Twitter account. And we do know that she was in the bath at around that time because the booby picture showed up not long after she had tweeted a picture of her toes in the bath. But she says that a friend hacked into her account and tweeted a picture of somebody else's breasts, and it's got nothing to do with her. Maybe she's right, and maybe she's wrong. I don't know. Here is her denial in the Metro. Here it is in the Daily Star. And of course, it was all over the internet. You can imagine what the internet was like on the day that this happened and the days that followed. People getting all of a fluster. Oh, were they Michelle Keegan's boobs, weren't they? Is it important? Should we look at them? All this debate raging about something that doesn't really matter. And oh, I like that. I have a little hobby. When I see people getting all worked up about things that don't really matter, I like to take their words and turn them into something more beautiful. I visited half a dozen news sites where people were discussing this particular story. I've taken some of the comments I found there and turned them into something that I like to call a found poem, which I would like to perform for you now. OMJ! Keegan's bazumbas. used to like Michael Keegan. Not because she is a pretty girl, although that cannot be denied, but because she seemed to be the kind of girl who wouldn't take pictures of her breasts in the bath and share them on the World Wide Web. How wrong I was. Bath breasts, bubbles and boobs, boobs and bubbles. Fwah. Of course they are hers. She is what my mother would call an attention-seeking floppet. Why do people say attention-seeking as if it is a bad thing? Don't we all seek attention? She certainly has my attention. Why, oh why, is the world going crazy over a pair of breasts? That's all they are. Breasts. We all have them. If Michelle Keegan says that is not a picture of her bits, then I, for one, believe her. Who are we to doubt Michelle Keegan? Only Michelle Keegan really knows what Michelle Keegan has or has not done with Michelle Keegan's breasts. Well, I feel sorry for her. The pic was obvs intended for her boyf. It's just a misfortunate accident that we can all take advantage of. I would drink that bathwater. Actresses have changed since my day. What next? Judi Dench tweeting a picture of her tuppence.
I don't want that image in my head.
The important thing here is to establish the truth of the matter. There are two key questions. One, are they hers?
Yeah.
And two, was it a mistake or not?
Yeah.
If they are hers and this was a mistake,
Yeah.
then it is wrong for any men, or indeed women, to enjoy this picture.
As it be equal.
However, if this was done on purpose, or they are someone else's, then it is fine. That is why the truth is important in this regard. There are already plenty of breast pics on the internet, and now there is one more. Me, yawn. Hubby, fwaw. In other words, fwawn. I thank you. The Bill Ross String Quartet, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you after the break. Welcome back to Modern Life is Goodish, where we have been discussing just how easy communication has become in the modern world. And in this age of instant communication, where we can all just reach out and connect with almost anyone, it's interesting to me that some people have still struggled to connect with that special someone. And sometimes they try more traditional, old-fashioned methods of communication. For example, a lot of newspapers have one of those I Spy columns. You know, the sort of thing, oh, I saw you on the number 38 bus on Tuesday. You
Oh,
were
I
looking hot.
hate
That
them.
kind of thing.
They're
The Metro
creepy.
has one. It's called Rush Hour Crush.
Yes.
Love.
That is bloody creepy. Seriously, anytime I'm getting the train these days, when I'm like coming back from a delivery or something, I have to get the train back, and because so often I have to go through London, I'll look at the metro, because most of the time I'm bored and I haven't got my Kindle or it's not charged up or my phone's losing battery or whatever, so I have to occupy myself by other means, and I just look at it and I'm just thinking, that is so cringy. I wonder if I can get that up at the end. I wonder if there's like an online version. I'll see if I can find anything.
Well,
So you can see what
lust
I mean?
is all around us, as is proven by the messages left by our commuter cupids. Are they talking about you? Oh, I love the rush hour crush.
Why?
What I love
It's
is seeing
creepy.
how many people use it in ways that give them no chance whatsoever of connecting. This is the sort of thing I mean. To the tall, dark, handsome man wearing a beige coat who got on at Oxford Circus. Coffee? Brunette with headphones. You haven't even said what time of day it was, what day it was, what line we were on. Do you know how busy Oxford Circus is? It's like bloody Piccadilly Circus down there, I tell you. You get loads like this. These are amazing to me. To the blonde in the red dress on the westbound Jubilee line just before 9 a.m. on Friday. I kept smiling at you, but you were busy with your iPhone. Drink?
See what I mean? That is creepy. Like she was clearly looking at her iPhone because she's like, I do not want to look at that creepy widow who's kind of just going. I mean, that's giving you, I want to take you down to my basement and have my way with you and handcuff you and eventually murder you. But drink first. Yeah.
She didn't look at you. She has no idea who you are. The answer is clearly no, guy in grey fleece, no. I've been following this column for ages, and you hardly ever see a reply. It's very exciting when you do see one. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. To the fiery ginger girl with long locks. You had a hole in your tights that made me smile. You got on the Piccadilly line at Knightsbridge. Can I buy you a fishbowl and a schnitzel? Signed, mysterious man in black coat with chin spots. That romantic missive got a reply.
Oh my God, really?
Yes to the mysterious man in the black coat with chin spots. I was hoping no one had noticed the hole in my tights. I would like to know more over a fishbowl. This cannot be genuine, can it? Surely this is a drug deal being arranged, isn't it? You almost never see a real reply, not a reply you can believe in. It is so exciting when you do. There was one a little while ago. There was a reply. This girl has written in saying, to the gorgeous guy who works in the coffee shop at Letchworth Garden City Station. How many times do I have to smile and make conversation before you ask me out? Signed, cappuccino, 1 sugar. And that's a fundamental error on her part right there, isn't it? The guy works in a coffee shop.
Probably very
Cappuccino, 1
common
sugar
order.
is highly unlikely to be a rare order in a busy train station coffee shop, is it? He doesn't know who you are. He's got no way of identifying you from the crowd of other customers, which is why I think she got the reply that she did. It came from not one, but from 2 people, ladies and gentlemen. Cappuccino, 1 sugar. There are 2 guys who work in Letchworth Garden City train station coffee shop. Give us a clue. Perfect. I love the day in the shop. I love thinking about the idea of these 2 guys saying, who do you think it is? Which one of us do you think it is? Because you know that secretly, deep down, they both know. There's a hot guy there going, oh, it could be you, it could be me. And you know deep down he's thinking, it's me. And the other guy there, he's so flattered by being asked the question, he's thinking, yeah, okay, yeah, I suppose it could be me, yeah. Well, why not? Let's ask. But really, he's sitting there thinking, it's him.
Yeah.
He knows it's the hot guy.
I'll be
It is
the
weird,
second
though.
guy.
They've got to reply, haven't they? She must read the Metro. She must have known that this was there, so now she's bound to reply, giving them a clue. So I tuned into the column every day for a week or so. Nothing turned up. It was a bit disappointing. And after a while, I thought, you know what? This story isn't going anywhere. Somebody needs to move this story up. And really, it's almost my public duty to stick my oar in and stir the pot in some small way. You can't just make stuff up. You've got to know your territory, haven't you? You've got to know what you're talking about. So I went on a little road trip to Letchworth, the world's first garden city. There it is, the world's first garden city. I'm not exactly sure what a garden city is. I presume it means they've provided green open spaces and they're proud of the amount of greenery they provide, which I hope explains this beautiful display at the train station. Be very proud of yourselves, Letchworth. That's a wonderful thing you've done there. Anyway, there is only 1 coffee shop in the train station. It is called Rico's. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, and there I am outside Rico's. And you know what? It was very small, it was quite pokey, you wouldn't get many people in there, a long queue would definitely be leaving the building. So having done my research, I had to then think about my motivation. And if you think about this, it's quite tricky, because these are real people. Cappuccino One Sugar wants to get with the hot guy in the coffee shop, and for all we know, he wants to get with Cappuccino One Sugar. If I send something pretending to be one of them, that's really not very fair. If I send something pretending to be some hot, attractive guy who's stealing her away or stealing him away, that's not fair either, because I'm making this guy up. If it splits up a couple who haven't even got together yet, that's messing with real people's real lives. So in the end, I thought the only morally appropriate thing to do was to send a message from someone who was an out-and-out cock. Because then, if she's attracted by that, well, then the guys in the coffee shop are well shot of her. And if she isn't, then she might be encouraged to be bolder, to go forth and speak to the people in Rico's. So I sent a message. I didn't expect it to get in. I just sent an email to the Metro from a made-up email address. But it did get in, and it was very exciting. Here is my message in the Rush Hour Crush. They gave the whole column to me on this particular occasion. Cappuccino One Sugar. If you're the girl I think you are, I'm often in the queue behind you at Letchworth Garden City Station's coffee shop. I've tried flirting, but you're too busy trying to get the attention of the guy behind the counter. I'm training to be a barrister. You're ignoring me for a barista. Please turn around so we can discuss my briefs. Signed, Shiny Shoes English Breakfast Tea. And I'll tell you what, when I saw that in the Metro at the breakfast table, me and Mrs. Gorman had a high five. We were very happy with our day's work at that point. I wasn't expecting it to get in, I was delighted. I definitely wasn't expecting to see it cause a fuss, but it did. Twitter got into a bit of a flap about it. Honestly, there were loads of messages like this. Today's Rush Hour Crush just nearly made me throw up. So this fella, bloody hell, wasn't expecting that. And this best Rush Hour Crush ever. Thank you, Twitter, for spreading the Metro love. Yeah, I'm loving the Letchworth Station coffee shop love triangle in the Metro. Love triangle. Will they, won't they? This is very exciting. I've never been in a love triangle before.
Maybe this is why I don't like it, because maybe I'm coming across Dave's fake articles all the time.
And she wasn't the only person calling it that. There was loads. Anyone else gripped by the Letchworth coffee shop love triangle? There were loads of people gripped by it, not just me and not just them. In the Metro, they also have a send us your text column. You can send them a text on any subject, and someone sent them one saying, anyone else waiting to hear what happened with the coffee shop love triangle in Rush Hour Crush? Did she choose the barrister or the barista? Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? This chap, he speaks with knowledge. He must be from Letchworth. I see this barrister thing in the Metro. I know the coffee shop in Letchworth Station as it goes.
Is that it?
A certain Shiny Shoes might find a coffee-stained boot up his arse with the quickness. Yeah. And some people got surprisingly aggressive. Look at this. Oh, local trainee barrister from Letchworth shows himself to be total cock whilst trying to appear to be romantic. The weird thing is, that is exactly the effect I was going for what I think are morally sound reasons, and yet, when I see somebody else saying it, I start getting all defensive. Like it's actually me. It's just a made-up guy, and there were loads of them like this. What a douche. Perfect word, douche.
Yeah?
Douche was a big theme for this fella. A+ in douchebaggery. That led to the Sunday People, no less, describing me, or rather him, as Earth's worst man. They know about the worst men, all right. This is the Sunday People we're talking about. So we've had douche and douchebaggery. This one was completely new on me. Definition of douche canoe. I think we can all agree it needed defining, didn't it? I'm not sure if that was my favourite insult. It was either that or self-important twat sack.
I really want to call my boss a self-important twat sack.
Glorious. But it wasn't just insults. Some people were threatening physical violence. Honestly, I hope she turns around and throws the coffee in his face, to be honest. Same person tweeting, poison anyone who orders an English breakfast tea to cover the bases.
Oh no, you're like the poison
Bloody
me.
hell! I was starting to get weirded out. That's not very nice, is it? This is the one that tipped me over the edge. It disgusts me. A woman should be able to get coffee without the threat of serious harassment. And I take issue with the idea that this is serious harassment. It isn't serious harassment, is it? Not really. In fact, I would suggest that what he is doing to her is nowhere near as bad as what she is doing to him. For two main reasons. Look at it this way. She is a customer. She can leave. He works there. He can't leave. He is trapped. Two, she's real. He's bloody fictional, isn't he? Of course it's different. You know what? I did start to feel a little bad about this situation. It was only meant as a bit of fun, a little bit of mischief on my part, but if it upset someone, if it made them see the world in a worse way, then I feel bad about my contribution to their concerns. And so I took those words. A woman should be able to get coffee without the threat of serious harassment, which incidentally, I agree with wholeheartedly. I don't think anyone here would suggest that no, women should be seriously harassed if they want to get a coffee. I think we'd all agree with that. I took those words and using the same made-up email address that I had used to email the Metro, I set up an e-petition, ladies and gentlemen. The title was short and to the point, and used the key words to describe it. The title was, "A woman should be able to get coffee without the threat of serious harassment." The body of my petition was concise. It was certainly very clear what I was asking the government to do. My petition reads, "The treatment meted out to Cappuccino 1 Sugar by Shiny Shoes English Breakfast Tea, as described in this edition of Metro's Rush Hour Crush," and there's the link, "is disgusting. I would like the government to make it illegal for coffee shop customers to flirt with one another in this way." There it is, then, gentlemen, for you all to see. And you know what? Actually, after all I've said about the government's e-petition website, I have to say, submitting my own petition has, to some extent, restored my faith in the democratic process of 21st century Britain.
Did it get
And I
accepted?
hope you will agree, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you that my petition about harassment in coffee shops was rejected.
Damn it!
Quite right too, of course it was, of course it should be. You see, life isn't perfect, but it is goodish. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Good night.
Oh, I wonder, did we ever find, did anything ever happen? I don't know how we're going to find that. What was it? A Cappuccino 1 Sugar. I'm just trying to see if there is any kind of news suggesting it. Metro, the best rush hour crushes of all time. Right. First of all, is that one on there? Oh, hang on. What's just happened there? Don't know what the hell just happened there. Is it here? I'm just going through. I don't know if it is actually. No, it's not there. No, it goes best rush hour things. Maybe it's just because it was literally looking for the word Metro. No, there's literally nothing there. Literally, you put in Metro Cappuccino 1 Sugar. First thing is a Twitter thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Dombalina. Anyone else gripped by the Letchworth coffee shop love triangle? I wonder if that's the same one there that was shown there. But yeah, it's still up there from 10 years ago. Yeah, Cappuccino 1 Sugar. If you're the girl I think you are, I'm often in the queue behind you. Blah blah blah. So yeah, it was clearly March 24th, 2014. So yeah, 10 and a half years ago that one was. Let's actually have a quick look at that. The best rush hour crushes of all time. Let's see if any of them are really creepy. Where are we? There's a few. They're all a bit linked together, so I'm a bit confused. So I'll do my best. To the handsome man who deftly shooed a pigeon off the tube carriage at Ravenscourt Park on Monday morning, your pigeon wrangling skills got me all in a flap. Fancy a drink? Brunette, purple and yellow scarf. That's just weird. Your pigeon wrangling skills got me all in a flap. Oh, my flap's got in a flap. South African man in his 30s last Friday. I boarded the train at Hitchin and got off at Letchworth. Letchworth again? Don't know what it is about Letchworth. You asked me whether my little flip phone was a Motorola. You seem like an interesting person, so I'd like to talk to you again. Girl with a flip phone, which was not actually a Motorola. So weird. Oh, and his response, in reply to girl with a flip phone, I'd really like to talk to you again too. Name of time and place, South African in his 30s. Well, there you go. Christmas related. To the jaw-droppingly beautiful black guy in the grey jumper who sat opposite me on the number 9 bus last Tuesday evening. Sorry for staring, but it was impossible not to. I wanted to slip you my number, but you hopped off at Knightsbridge and scuppered my plans. Can I have you for Christmas? The blondie who can keep her eyes to herself. Oh, God. Oh. Right. I've read the Rush Hour Crush every day since it started, but I have still not seen a message to the short, fat, badly dressed guy on the Hertford North line. I feel quite despondent. Why, if I don't get a message soon, I might just have to stick with the wife, Tom Enfield. Just listen to that again. I've read the Rush Hour Crush every day, still not seen a message to the short, fat, badly dressed guy on the Hertford North line. I feel despondent. Why, if I don't get a message, I might just have to stick with the wife. And the follow-up. To Tom, the short, fat, badly dressed guy on the Hertford North line who says he is despondent about never being the subject of a Rush Hour Crush message. Your bags are in the front garden. Tom's wife, Enfield. Oh, that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh. And then, finally, this one just says, The Ballad of John and Emily. He said, cute brunette wearing bright red lipstick and a white flower in her hair heading to Battersea Park choir practice on Thursday night. See, that already is very creepy how much he knew about her there. You had me hypnotised with your stunning hazel eyes. I should have asked you for your number. I hope to hear you in full voice soon. John, Clapham Junction. She said, to John, Clapham Junction. It turns out my journey to the choir practice was even more worthwhile. I'm intrigued. Fancy a cup of tea sometime? Brunette with a bright red lipstick and a white flower in her hair. He said, to brunette with bright red lipstick and a white flower in her hair. That is music to my ears. I accept your kind offer to meet you and the choir at North Coke Festival afterwards. Tea for two at 2 Love Tea and Coffee House will be terrific. The chance of another evening encounter before then is very high, so I'll be looking out for you. John, Clapham Junction. To John, Clapham Junction. Brilliant. Sunday it is then. Finally, a rendezvous after 3 weeks of our correspondence. I only hope I can spot you in the audience. I'll also keep my eyes peeled for you until then. Emily, aka brunette with bright red lipstick and a white flower in her hair. Oh, bloody hell. See, I mean, I guess sometimes it could, theoretically happen, but, I mean, most of them, like you said, yeah, because it's just like you have, like, to the handsome bold guy in a dark suit who I met in the tube 5 years ago. Oh, actually, no, that seems quite nice. Thank you so much for making me happy every single day. So that was a success one. But when it's like you're saying, it's the ones like who couldn't stop staring at her phone. Yeah, she clearly didn't see you. How the hell is she going to know who she is? Yeah, it's just creepy. It's full of creepy weirdos, all guys who clearly want to fool around and hopefully can do it anonymously, but they actually do get found out. Right, I'm going to leave that episode there. That was fantastic. Obviously, as always, subscribe if you're new, drop your comments down below, and if you want to see early access to my content, please consider joining the Patreon. But that will do it for today. Thank you very much, and for now, my name is Kevin. I am a geek. Thank you for watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.